everybody. The temple doors are open and the cleric is in his confessional. Welcome in, everybody. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Alec the Cleric. I'm a Wonderlands and Borderlands content creator, a YouTube editor, a podcaster, and an all-around funny dad who has no idea what he's doing when he plays games, but we have a lot of fun anyway. And this is episode 5 of The Confessional. This is a show where we interview incredible and interesting people from all walks of life and places, focusing mainly on the gaming and streaming communities. And the best part about this show is that you, as a member of the community, gets to be involved. All you have to do is to join either our Discord server, !Discord, if you are watching here live on Twitch right now, and you can ask your questions ahead of time and see who we've got coming up for the next week. Or you can join us live here, usually every Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, live, and ask your questions of who we are going to be having on the show. Don't forget, too, that you can follow us on Twitter at ClericCast to see who will be coming up in the next week's episode, so you can stay fully up to speed on all things confessional. All right. Enough of the garbage, enough of the boring intro stuff. Let's get our guest into the confessional. Joining me this week for our 5th episode is an absolutely amazing creator that I am very excited and honored to get a chance to talk to. They are a streamer and content creator that focuses on more of the spooky side of things with their content, so this will be pretty cool to get to hear about. They are also a variety streamer, a mother, and an all-around awesome person, so please join me in welcoming Toxic Tess. Tess, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. I am excited for this. So I'm doing good.
Yeah. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here. And why don't we just go ahead and get started? So I want to ask right off the bat, just why don't you tell our audience a bit about who you are and what you do in the form of content creation?
Okay, so Toxic Tess. The name derives of the fact that toxicity can be a little bit of chaos, but it's not actual toxic. My whole stream and content creation wraps itself around mental health and the regulating of anxiety. And anxiety can be controlled if you divert what makes you anxious. So if you're feeling anxious because of something else, playing the spookier games is a self-induced anxiety, which is something that's controllable. And that's where a lot of it comes through, is just relieving anxiety and depression and all of that stuff.
That is so cool. I mean, that is so unique too, that you gear your content towards targeting specifically mental health. Like, this is going to be a very first for us, so I'm excited to get a little bit deeper into that. But before we start to kind of dive into your actual content and what you do, where did your content creation story begin? Like, we've all kind of got an origin story of how we got started. So where did you get going in all this?
Okay, so my whole life I've been an entertainer. Entertainment is something that's been a huge thing ever since I was a child. I started out as learning music when I was in school, and I performed in bands, choirs, percussion ensembles, things like if anyone has ever seen Stomp the Yard, I was in a percussion ensemble where we had done that, where we took garbage cans and whatever we could, and we did performances with it. I was part of a thing in the Ottawa, Ontario, called the World Voices Choir, and we would perform all over Eastern Ontario. So at an early age, I started performing, and which later on kind of went into I started writing music and this and that and doing open mic nights, and then eventually my passion for music kind of died a little bit. I listened to it, I loved it, appreciated it, I just didn't want to perform like that anymore. And then I found TikTok, and I was all excited because I got that 1,000 followers on TikTok, and I was like, okay, now I can go live and I can entertain people, and I fell in love with it. And then I started watching people on Twitch, and I was like, this is a cool concept. I did not know that Twitch was even an existent thing until 2 years ago. And I decided to start streaming more on Twitch than doing TikTok lives, because it gave me something to do. I could play my whatever game I'm playing and just interact and entertain people. And that's just kind of where the whole content creation came from, is just I love to entertain. I love to put on a show type of thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
so you actually found content creation through TikTok.
Yeah.
What's kind of the difference then between like going live on Twitch and
Uh,
doing TikToks? Because I mean, obviously TikTok right now is kind of the hotness, right? Like if you're going to be in
um,
content creation, you've at least heard of TikTok. So like,
well, yeah.
why don't you just give us, or for people who haven't gotten involved in that side of content creation, like what's it like being a TikToker?
Okay, so being a TikToker, has its ups and has its downs. Just like any type of content creation, whether you're on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, whatever it is, there's always a downside to it. The good thing is I love making videos. Like I love doing transitions on TikTok. I love, cosplays. I love all of that stuff, like the creativity that you like, just the stuff you could put together in your mind and then make it happen on TikTok. Like there's no other platform that can make videos the way that TikTok does. It's TikTok's a beautiful thing for that. When it comes to the live though, you won't catch me go live on TikTok. You won't. Like I think I've gone live like 3 times on TikTok since New Year's.
Gotcha.
I used to go live like every night. I'd be live for anywhere from an hour to like 6 hours. Um, but the difference between a live on TikTok and a Twitch stream is that on TikTok, like you're sitting there waiting for people to come in. And, if you don't if it's a crap night and nobody comes in, you're sitting right in front of your phone, looking at yourself and not really anybody to talk to. You just vibe to your music or whatever it is that you're doing, but there's not really much else to do. Some people can preoccupy themselves with other things, but I mean, for me, I kind of lost the whole, like, fun part of it. Twitch stream, on the other hand, if you have no viewers, you still got your video game that you're playing, you're still, like, rocking it, like, with whatever game it is that you're playing, and, if people come in, hey, you got people to talk to, but, if nobody comes in, you still got your game and your voices in your head to talk to, so, I mean... All right, like that's the difference. That is the difference. So, video-wise, I like making videos on TikTok, but when it comes to interacting with people, I love being on Twitch more.
I got you.
So,
no, and it makes total sense, right? Because I mean that live element must be much more difficult when you don't have a video game in front of you preoccupying yourself.
Yeah.
So that makes a ton of sense. So obviously you made the transition over to doing Twitch for your live content at least. And a lot of what you stream on Twitch would be either a horror game or kind of a spooky game. Obviously you're a variety streamer, so you do a little bit of everything, but but a lot of your focus is in the horror genre. So what kind of drew you to the horror genre and to those games as your source for your Twitch content?
Well, I've always loved horror. Ever since I was a kid, horror movies, like my by far favorite horror series in all of everything is the Hellraiser series. I love Hellraiser.
Good choice.
Favorite, 100%. But I grew up on it. So like I grew up on Freddy vs. Jason. I grew up on Saw. I grew up on like all of these deranged, scary movies. And up until actually a year ago, I didn't realize that there was a genre for spooky games.
Ah.
And I just so happened to have been watching Red Ghost playing Lunch Lady and Hostile Bond playing Phasmophobia and everybody playing all these games, and I was like, oh, but these games are only for PC, so I went out and got a PC so that I could play these games, because then I was like, oh my god, I need these scary games in my life because these are awesome. And then it just kind of evolved from there. So it started out with just playing them to, like, streaming them because the jump scares are great. And, like, everybody loves the jump scares. I like going back and seeing the jump scares. They're absolutely hilarious. That's probably my favorite part of the content creation is the jump scares.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, spooky's been, like, my thing for my entire life. But only a year ago, I actually realized there was spooky games.
So what are a couple of your favorites then? If you had to pick a couple of your favorite horror games, what would those be?
Oh, that's hard. That's hard. That's hard because I like a bunch. They all have their own thing, right? For a fun one that I will say, it was a very quick playthrough, but it was fun, was Poppy's Playtime.
Ooh.
It would have been, I think it would honestly be my top five just because it was like, it constantly had me in anxiety. And like, that's what I look for. If I'm anxious the whole time I'm playing it, that's a good game. Phasmophobia is my most common game to play. I love the game. I love all of the changes that they've been making with all of their updates over the last like 6 months. So that's a very, very much go-to. But for top three would have to be Phasmophobia, Devour. I love Devour. And probably Poppy Playtime. I like that one. That was a good game.
Very cool.
So
Very
yeah.
cool. And the beautiful thing about the horror genre too, and you touched on it a little bit, is just how broad it really is. Like you've got the classic old school survival horror, like your
Yep.
Silent Hills, your Resident Evils, stuff
Yep.
like that. You have
Yep.
the indie side of things that was really brought to the forefront by like Five Nights at Freddy's and things like
Yep.
that. You've got just games that are like,
You got your like ghost hunting games,
yeah,
and then
like
you've
horror
got your like
themed, you know,
you
that
you've
kind of
got your like
stuff.
satanic ritual stuff, and then you've got this, I got to complete these tasks, and I have to go and collect all of these things while the lunch lady's trying to kill me. Like it's there's so much variety in it.
I love it. I love it. So, and kind of piggybacking off of that, I've got a question here from Captain Spalding. He wants to know,
Okay.
what is a game that you would personally recommend for someone that is looking to jump into horror content that maybe hasn't done horror content in the past?
It depends on your system because if you're playing console versus PC, that's the difference. Because like there's a limited kind of selection for what you can play off of like console. Like not completely limited, but there's more games that I would recommend off of PC. But a good start, honestly, I think would be like Resident Evil or like The Evil Within or 7 Days to Die. Something like that, like a survival horror game would probably be my first go-to.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, the first, I guess, spooky that I jumped into was anything that was like zombies
Ah,
in any Call of Duty series.
gotcha.
Like that was my go-to. Like I played the zombies in Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, what was that other one that Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where I started with it, was just playing zombies on COD. So I mean that's versatile, you can play it on any system. So I mean that's a good way to start, but definitely Resident Evil, Silent Hill, any of your survival horror games would probably be the best way to start, and then you can branch off from there.
Very cool.
So
Well, there you go.
yeah.
There's some good recommendations there. I'm always a big fan of the Resident Evil series. That's
Oh yeah.
a huge
Oh yeah.
nostalgia
I
pick for
haven't
me.
played. I played them long time ago. I haven't played any of the newer ones.
Oh,
So
the
yeah, I
the
got some catching up to do.
the relaunch has been very good. It's very
Oh
different.
yeah,
I'll say that it's very different than where the series was originally, but it is quite an experience. It is quite an
yeah,
experience. Um, so some of the largest content creators in the world, at least in recent history, got their big breaks by creating horror game content. Like PewDiePie didn't launch until he started playing Amnesia.
yep,
Markiplier didn't really launch until Five Nights at Freddy's. So,
yep,
do you find that specifically streaming horror games, kind of helps you interact with your audience more, or might even
yeah,
just kind of give you a leg
yeah.
up in a sense?
I think part of it, like a lot of it has to do with the spooky games. A lot of it also has to do with the sound alerts
Aha.
because like I will throw in like I don't know, I've got tons and tons of sound alerts, and it's like, doors opening or ghosts hissing or, zombies growling, and it's all these jump scare sound alerts. So paired up with the spooky games and the sound alerts combined, I think that's kind of what helped with the interaction and just kind of, I don't know, I think that's where it grew from there, to be honest.
I
So,
gotcha. Yeah,
yeah.
it's cool too because with horror games, there is a lot more. It's the waiting. Like it's waiting to
Yeah.
see like, oh, how bad is the streamer gonna get scared for this? Like
Yeah.
what are they gonna
Oh,
say
yeah.
when this happens?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So let's circle back for a second because I wanted to
Okay.
ask you a bit more about when you were introducing yourself. You mentioned that a lot of your content creation focuses around mental health. Um,
Yes.
what can you share with us a little bit of the origin of that? Like, what led you to take your content creation and really drive it in the direction of helping out with mental health and understanding anxiety and all of these things that you tout on your channel?
Well, I'll be like, I got anxiety. I'm a walking, talking, anxious, like anxiety bomb waiting to explode. So that's one thing. My whole life, like, it actually brings back to like where the whole entertainment thing came from. Because, it started out with like I used music as therapy to kind of overcome the stuff that I was going through, and then it became like, I started performing. And then like there was a bunch of things like in between like me stopping the performing to TikTok. I'd host dinners and gatherings and game nights and all of these things where I was entertaining people like in a non-content creation kind of way. And that for some reason just gave me peace, and that was part of like the people pleasing side of me.
Mm-hmm.
um TikTok became an art for me to be able to express how I was feeling and getting it out in a creative way, which then kind of like when I started doing the live feeds there, it kind of like we'd talk about mental health, we'd talk about depression, we'd talk about anxiety, we'd talk about women's mental health, men's mental health, all of this stuff. And people would ask questions and I'd give them advice, and it just kind of grew from there. So then when I started being more consistent on Twitch, I was like, I do this for my anxiety, and I'm pretty sure this is probably going to help other people's anxiety because watching other streamers helps my anxiety. So, like that's kind of be the focus. Like, this is where, we've got mental health. It's a safe place, speak your mind, and, hopefully we can get through this together. Like, we try to be a community as much as we can. We try to lift each other up and support each other the best that we can. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
I know that can get pretty heavy and stuff like that too. I mean,
Yeah.
especially when people are asking questions and you're wanting to help them and stuff like that. Um, how do you kind of keep, because obviously, you're also there for your own mental health as well. So
Yeah.
how do you kind of keep those things balanced
Uh,
between helping other people with theirs and also helping yourself at the same time?
the pandemic actually taught me how to do that
Oh, really?
because once I'm on a screen, I am a completely different person. Like like I'm the same person, but it's like a shield. So it's like, like you and I, we could be sitting here talking about, whatever, like, and say you're taking a panic attack about something, we could be talking about whatever it is that's triggering it, work through it, use some coping skills, bring it down a couple notches and get it to a functional level. But the second that I jump off this Discord, I'm back to like, hey, I'm gonna watch movies, or I'm gonna go and do my own self-care thing, or I'm gonna sit outside for like an hour and a half and just kind of hoosa. But like I'm a different person. I'm the same person, but a different person once I'm off of a device. So that's kind of what helps me separate it.
Gotcha.
So it's like, once I'm on the screen, I'm there to help. Once I'm off the screen, I'm doing me. I'm doing me. So, like the content creation is more to help everybody. Like, I still play video games off stream.
Right.
Like sometimes like I'll play video games when other people are streaming. Like last night I was playing playing with Red Ghost and Recon and a whole bunch of people, and we were playing Phasmophobia. And I wasn't streaming. However, I was a little anxious yesterday, and that game just makes me feel at peace. So, like I still game outside of streaming and interacting with people, and I'll play games solo, and I do my own thing when I need to.
Mhm.
But most of the time I have no problem being there to kind of help other people get through what they're going through.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
And it's good that you're able to kind of compartmentalize that. I guess
Yeah.
compartmentalize is probably the best word that I can use to describe it,
Mhm.
but to be able to
Yeah.
separate the two so that you're not hurting
Yeah.
yourself while you're trying to help others.
Yeah.
We got another question from the community. This one is
Okay.
anonymous. It came to us from the Google Docs. Thank you guys so much for
Okay.
using that. What genre do you use to buffer or to offset playing horror games, if any? So, like, In other words, like, is there ever a time where you're just like, okay, I've had enough of this for now. I need to play something
Yeah.
else. Or Captain Spaulding also asked a very similar question. Besides horror, what some other of your favorite type of games to play?
So because of everybody in the beautiful Borderlands community, I have joined myself into that. I love playing Borderlands. It's fun. It is a great game. That's something that I find very soothing for myself. I like that game. But when I've been like, okay, I have been streaming spooky games for like 3 months now, like I need a break. Like that's when I'll start streaming things like Borderlands, Cyberpunk 2077. I'll stream Sea of Thieves. I'll stream oh, what's the other ones that I play? Oh, there's Pummel Party there's a big group for Pummel Party that we do every second Monday. And that's a whole blast in itself. But there's like pretty much anything that I can find off the Game Pass that's just non-horror. Off stream, just because I can't stream it, because my PC can't handle it, like I'll play Warzone or something that's just pew 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 pew.
Gotcha. So,
So,
you're like the very definition then of variety. Like
oh yeah,
there's nothing that you focus in
oh
on.
yeah. My biggest thing when I need to reset and I'm like, okay, I need a break. I'm too wrapped up in like social medias. I will take my Nintendo Switch and I will sit there and play Animal Crossing for like 2 weeks straight, and that's all I'll play. I won't play anything else. I won't even touch my computer. I won't touch nothing else. It's just me and Animal Crossing, and I catch as many fish as I possibly can and like sell it to like Nook's Cranny and get ripped off like 10 times a day. So
Yeah, that
but
raccoon just owns all of our souls at
oh
this
yeah,
point. So
oh yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
it's funny.
Biggest fan
Animal
artist.
Crossing is such a palate cleanser too, because I mean,
Right?
I'll go through the same kind of phase every once in a
Yeah.
while, but that's
Yeah,
interesting.
sometimes I'll switch it up for like Pokemon or the Breath of the anything that's on my Nintendo Switch, because like I don't have my spooky games on there. I don't have my shooting games on there. I got my kids that make me feel like I'm 8 years old. Like that's my palate cleanser right there. It's my Nintendo Switch. Just anything that's on there. So
I feel that. I feel that.
yeah,
So you mentioned it a little bit, but we'll dive into that now. So outside of content creation, you are also a mom.
yeah.
So how do you balance out then the hectic schedule of being a content creator as well as having this family life as well?
So it also, okay, first it depends on the time of the year. So right now we're in summer break, kids are out of school, it's chaotic, like home life is crazy, it's hot in the house, we're sweaty, we do the best that we can. In the summertime it's kind of harder for me to kind of fit it all in because kids don't want to go to bed on time. And personally I don't think anyone wants to go to bed early on in summer break. So I mean it's fair. When the kids are in school, my youngest, who's 3, he'll come and sit up on my lap, and we'll do the Animal Crossing streams. And we'll sit there and we'll stream together, and he'll like point out at all the fish, and we'll go and get the fish, and then we get the bugs, and then we chop down trees, and we do this. And I'll actually have my youngest one like a part of the stream. And so that kind of helps with like, if I randomly decide I want to stream during the day. Most of the time though, I stream at night.
Gotcha.
Kids have been pretty much put to bed. They may not be sleeping, but they've been put to bed. And, I kind of make it known like, hey, I am a mom. I got kids. They're going to come out. They're going to say hi. Everybody kind of knows who the kids are. And, they're part of the chaos too. So, anything can happen as a parent. And, I just make it known. Like, I'm not just a gamer, I'm not just a streamer, I'm not just a content creator, like, I am a mom, and that's like the biggest part of my life, and it comes before everything else. So like, midstream, one of the kids come out, and, it's like, Mom, like, I really need you right now. And it's like, okay, you know what, my kid needs me, like, I'm sorry guys, we're gonna do this raid, we're gonna move it over to someone else, and, I hope you guys all have a good night, I'm gonna go cuddle with my kids. So like, there's been times where I have done that. It's not often that that's happened, but, there are times where it's like, like, the kids need me, and I do the best that I can to try and be both. And, at the end of the day, the kids kind of come first, so, like, that's kind of, like, the biggest priority to me. And, I mean, I stream for the kids. Like, they watch the YouTube videos afterwards. Like, my oldest had bugged me for a month, being like, when are you streaming Poppy Playtime? Like, I need to see this now. And I'm like, I will get to it. So I finally end up streaming, and like, his room is directly behind me, and he's got his door open, and he's like watching me play the game and stream the game, and then he comes in and he's like, "Oh, it's Huggy Wuggy," and I was like, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah,
I'm like,
it
"You
is.
need to go to bed, bud." Like, I love you, but you gotta go to bed. You can watch it tomorrow. So sure enough, the next day I ended up, because I uploaded it that night for them. The next day they're getting ready for school, and I threw it onto the TV. I was like, "There you go, bud. You can watch me stream it now." So they got to watch me play the Poppy Playtime. So they are very much involved with Twitch. They have their fan, like they are like the number one fan to like Red Ghost. I'm pretty sure they fangirl more than I do over Red Ghost. But they love all the spooky stuff, so they're very involved with it. But like we do the best that we can to balance it. Sometimes you gotta cancel, sometimes you gotta switch the schedule, or being consistent is hard. That's the biggest difficulty, I will say, being a mom and a streamer, is being consistent. But it's, part of the chaos.
Well,
so.
and it's so cool too that you incorporate your kids into your content, because I think that's something that a lot of people don't do, or don't do very well. And it's just really cool to hear that it is possible to be, because obviously I'm a father as well. A lot of the content creators that I know are fathers, and either their kids are older or whatever, but it's cool to hear that it is possible to incorporate them and involve them without without things going totally haywire. So
well, and that's exactly it, right? Because like I was saying earlier, like the person that I am on screen, I'm the same person that I am on screen and off screen, but I'm also different. I have the persona of Tess on here. That's what everybody knows me as on here. And, I have who I am at home. But the thing is I'm still the same person. And I'm not going to try and live a dual life. Like, that's just too much work. Ain't nobody got time for that right now. Like, no way. So, I do the best that I can when it comes to the kids, and they're gonna be a part of it anyways. Like, I stream from my living room. It's common area. The kids are gonna come out and play. So
that's awesome.
It's part of it. Yeah.
Awesome. And do they like the fact that you do content creation? Like, do they ever ask you questions, or have they expressed interest in doing it themselves?
Well, my oldest has decided he has made, and it's not because of me, and I'm okay with that. It's not because of me. But my oldest has expressed to me that when he grows up, he wants to be a Twitch streamer just like Red Ghost. He is the number one fan to Red Ghost. He loves her with everything. And like, I've told her this too. And but no, he wants to be a Twitch streamer. My daughter wants to be a TikToker. And the 3-year-old just wants to watch Paw Patrol. So
well, I mean, there you go. I mean, Paw Patrol is awesome. So.
Paw Patrol and Blippi. That's what's trending still. So, but yeah, no, they want to grow up, and they want to grow up into content creation. And I told them, I was like, you know what, do it. If you want to do it, have at her. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, we run a gaming house. Everybody in here games. Like, whether it's on their tablets, on the Xbox. I'm getting them Nintendo Switches for their birthday. So
we're gonna keep it secrets. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think my son will find the YouTube yet, so we're good. We're good. But anyways, no, like we run a big gaming house, and we started a gaming house because my husband's a gamer, I'm a gamer, and we went into a pandemic. There was nothing to do, so we just played video games. That's all we did. Hey, you do 3 pages of schoolwork, we'll do some video games, all right? We'll play Minecraft for the rest of the day. We'll do whatever you want to do. I don't even care. Just, try. Just try. That's all I ask. So, because we have, like, a gaming house, they want to grow up and be content creators. I'll support that 100%. Like,
that is so cool.
I have fun with it, so they will too.
That is so cool. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. So you said, obviously, it's a house of gamers. So looking back, what is one game that you can point to in your past that kind of gave you the love of gaming?
The love of gaming, or what started me gaming?
Either or. I'll take both. How about both?
Okay, we'll do both. Okay. The love of gaming, Ark. I love Ark. I 100%. I love Ark. Runs like crap on every system, but I love it. I love the game. Okay? The game that got me into being a gamer, Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Really? Okay. Okay.
What's up,
That's a
baby?
good launch point. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, it started out, like, I did the whole, like, Nintendo, GameCube, the Wii, the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, and then my life got chaotic at that point, and I just lost touch with gaming. And then one day, I got invited over to some guy friends, and they were all having, like, this party or whatever. So we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go and hang out and whatever. And I sat there for 12 hours. I did not touch the controller. But I sat there for 12 hours and watched them play the zombies. It was the town map for 12 hours.
Wow.
And I went out and I got there, it was like 6 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the morning. I was like, okay, guys, like, I gotta go home. And I started walking home, and instead I went to the mall, picked up a PlayStation 3, a copy of Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, went home, hooked it all up, played the whole campaign mode, and then just lived on zombies after that. Excellent. And I was a COD gamer up until about a year and a half ago. So, what's up, baby?
And it's true that honestly, that's where I think a lot of us got started. Is in one form of another, everyone has touched COD. You can't have played games in this modern time without touching COD in some way or another.
I've played a good portion of them. I haven't played all of them, but I mean, for the Black Ops series, I think the only one that I have not played is Black Ops 4. I've played Black Ops 1, 2, and 3, and then I've played Cold War, and if they've come out with another one since Cold War, I haven't touched that one either. I love Cold War, I will say. A lot of people had some hardships about Cold War, but I think it was because they were expecting it to be like Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is Modern Warfare and Black Ops are two separate lines. Same game, two separate lines. Kind of like your Twitter post about, like, Tiny Tina's and Borderlands. It's the same thing, but it's two separate things in the same thing. Like, two different paths, like, kind of parallel to each other. But that's... A lot of people were expecting it to be like Warzone. But it's not. It was a Black Ops game, so it's going to have more of the Black Ops features than it would for the Modern Warfare. And, I mean, both are great. My heart goes to Black Ops. Like, I love Black Ops 100%. So that was pretty much what got me into being a gamer, is the Black Ops series. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's something that I think all of us have dealt with at one form or another. Is just COD. Like, just COD, man. Just COD.
COD.
All right, well, here's a little something, a little fun question here to help us get to know you a little bit better. If you were an ice cream, what flavor would you be, and why?
You know those multicolored ones?
Okay.
Where you walk into the ice cream shop and you're looking at it and you're kind of hesitant because you're like, it's either going to taste like crap or it's going to be the greatest thing of your life.
Yes.
That is me. Because I guarantee you, when people look at me, they're like, either that's going to be the worst thing for me or that is going to be the best thing for me. And I'm not sure which one I'm willing to risk. So I would have to be that multicolored.
The multicolored mystery flavor.
The one that you're not sure if it's going to taste like cheap Fruit Loops or like, unicorns. I don't know. Like, it's a hit or miss. Like, that's probably the best one to describe me is I dig
that. Yeah. That's a very good answer.
Not everyone's going to like me. Some people will. Either way, I'm still vibing because I'm colorful and, I catch everybody's attention. So,
Perfect.
It works.
I love it. I love it. So I understand that you've actually achieved a huge life milestone outside of your content creation by reaching 10 years of sobriety. And let me first of all say that is incredible. And from all of us here at the Confessional, congratulations. Because that is absolutely amazing.
It is.
And so, secondly, to lead off of that, like, how does reaching a goal as amazing as that does that have any influence on your life? Or obviously, it has a big influence on your life, but on your content, like, um, what does that kind of do to your content and stuff like that to have achieved something like that?
Well, if I achieved one goal, I can achieve another, right? And I mean, like I was actually looking through my Facebook memories today. And like I was looking at the point in when I actually started like saying like, this is my sobriety day, I've made it this far. This is my sobriety day that I've made it this far. And I was looking at the evolution to where I've come from. And the first one was like 6 years sobriety. And then it was 7 years. And like each post was different but the same. It all had the sobriety date, but it was worded differently, and in that I seen my growth. You know, like, when I started out with those posts, it was like, I was 6 years clean from pills. And then I got to a point where it was like I was 6 years sober. Not from whatever it was, because it could have been anything. But like there came a point in time where, I had matured in that time frame, and I seen that. And I think that is the biggest thing that I look at in my sobriety is the evolution of who I've become.
Gotcha.
And that if I can achieve this every single year, what else can I achieve? Like I'll eventually get that house that I want to buy. Do I know what it looks like? No, but I'll buy a house. I bought one before. I'll do it again. Things might be a little bit rough right now, and money might not be the greatest, or I don't have a car right now, but I will. And I'll have that good job, and I'll go back to school, and I'll get all of this stuff done, and at the end of it, like, I will achieve those goals. The other biggest goal that I've achieved because of my sobriety, or actually no, the other goal that I achieve every single day, which feeds into my sobriety, has to do with my kids. That's my biggest thing. That's why I stayed sober, is because of my kids. Like, I didn't want to screw it up. Like, I wanted to give my kids a good life. And in order for do that, I had to stay clean. Mm-hmm. And, I'm a good mom. My kids are awesome. They're polite, sarcastic, mouthy. But I wouldn't have it any other way. No. They're just like me. And, that's all I could ask for. They're great kids. They're doing good in school. They're respectful. They're polite. They get along, they could be way worse. They're great kids. And that's what keeps me going. Because if sober me can raise kick-ass kids, I wouldn't want it any other way. Heck so, yeah.
I love that. I love that. Congratulations again. That is,
Thank
absolutely incredible.
I appreciate that.
Being able to accomplish something like that, and for the reasons that you said there, obviously that takes a lot of drive, a lot of determination. Do you have any tips for any aspiring content creators, or even just people that might be going through it right now, like just going through whatever it stands for? What are some tips that you can give for how to keep pushing forward when things aren't quite going their way?
The biggest thing is talk. Even when you have no viewers. You ain't got nobody. You are your only viewer because you got, like, your own thing up because you're looking at the numbers. If you want to look at the numbers, look at the numbers. But the thing is, talk. Talk about what you're doing. Describe it. You're playing Cyberpunk. Okay? You gotta go, like, your V, you gotta go and talk to Fingers. I don't drive. In any game. I do not drive. I suck at driving. It doesn't matter what the game is. Borderlands, COD, Cyberpunk, Forza. No, I just don't play those games because I suck at driving. I talk about it. I'm like, I'm walking and I'm walking and walking. And I sing to myself. And when I started doing that, people started showing up. And then I was like, people like it when I'm just being dumb. And, like, I'm making no sense. So, you know what? Like, talk about what you're doing. If you're playing a Telltale and there's no voice reading out what the text is, read the text. Read it out to your stream. I did that with the game Terra. There's no voice that's reading out, your mission. So I'd sit there and I'd just start reading it out loud because, there are some people that, may have a hard time with focusing. I suck at I hate focus. I can't focus worth shit. So, but I will like read it for them just in case. And when I started doing that, people started coming in and hanging out. And that's one of the biggest things, especially as a variety streamer. Variety streamer is not the easiest kind of streamer. You know, when you're consistent and you're playing the same game or the same story or the same franchise, you know, like you got your people that are like invested into that game. Being a variety streamer, I have people that come in from different communities, right? And it's all based off the games. And then I have my people that come in for me. Mm-hmm. And, you know, those are the people that like started coming in when I started talking to myself. And I was like, okay, so that's a thing. And then when I started doing like intros and like I'd open up my stream and be like, hey, I'm Toxic Tess, this is where the chaos is, and blah, 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 blah. You know, people would come in and the numbers started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So talk to yourself. You know, once you've gotten comfortable talking to yourself, it's probably the best thing that you can learn, especially when you get big. Once you get big and your chat is blowing up and, you know, you've got hundreds of people in your chat and you're having a hard time keeping up, you can still talk. You talk about yourself, talk about your day. Something catches your eye, you can reply to that comment. Do the best that you can. And just have fun. The numbers, it is what it is. Like, I, for the longest time, averaged, like, you know, 12, 13, 15 viewers. And then I went through a spurt where I had, like, 2, 3, 1. And I was like, alright. You know, it kind of sucked. Dopamine dropped a little bit. But I was like, you know what, whatever. I just talked to myself. Talked about the game. You know, if people come, people come. If not, it is what it is. You know, not everybody's going to make it to every single stream, and I know that. And that's okay. But just talk. Talk about everything. Talk about the sky. Talk about the sky. Talk about the cat. I have a cat that, like, this kitten will, like, come up and just do his own thing. So I'll start talking about him, or I'll just talk. That's all you do. Talk. That's the biggest thing I'll say for content creation. Talk. Because that's when the content starts.
You heard it here first, folks. Just talk. Talk about everything. Yeah. Talk about everything forever. I love it.
That's what separates it from I'm playing this game to I'm creating content. Talk. You know, and the biggest thing was like the spooky games for me. So like Phasmophobia, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna grab that and I'm gonna grab this. And I sing a lot in my stream. A lot. More than I probably should, but I sing. And I'll be like, okay, so we ain't got nothing here. We got no EMF here. We got no this there. Let's go to the basement. Ooh, we got this and like I go full like hyperactive, cannot focus. I'm looking at everything. That's honestly how it started. Just talk about everything.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. All right. Well, we got another question from the community here. This one, again, comes from Captain Spaulding. He wants to know.
Awesome.
So you mentioned cosplay. What are some of the characters you have done before with cosplay?
Okay, so I don't do just, like, cosplay of, like, you know, anything. I just have, like, I have a vampire. Okay. Well, like a vampire demon kind of looking thing. That's Syndicate. She's the collector of souls. Yeah, she's the dark one. I have a Norse Viking siren, whose name is... Oh my god. Hang on. What is her name?
The blank is real.
Wow! I had it on the tip of my tongue, and then it just, like, gone. Thelzino.
Aha.
Okay, Thelzino, which is actually one of the names of the Greek sirens in Greek mythology.
Very
one of 3. And I really like the name Thelzino. I don't know why. So I do have a siren cosplay, and in the cosplay, I have runes that go down my forehead, and it's the rune symbol of siren. And then I have my Viking badass bitch, and her name is Zeno. And all of these are on TikTok. I don't typically do it on my stream. I do not get into cosplay when it's hot and sweaty, because it's just hot and sweaty, and my AC is not good enough for my place.
Understood.
But no, in the wintertime, I'll do cosplay a lot more. I have done a gender bend off of my husband's cosplay, which is his cosplay is a Mr. Phobia, and I have the Mrs. Phobia, and it's a whole light getup.
Cool.
That's actually really cool. Very easy, very cheap, and very fun. But It all kind of varies. I don't know. I get an idea and I just follow it. Like I see something and I'm like, I think I can make a cosplay out of that. And next thing you know, the face paint comes out and I'm doing this and it's been like 3 hours later and like I'm like, let's go make some TikToks now. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love it. So you create
Yeah.
your own characters then. Like these are just
Yeah.
people born out of your imagination
Yeah.
instead of just taking characters that you see
Yeah.
in other places. That's really cool. That's
One that
really
I
cool.
do want to get, it's gonna cost a lot because it actually has more pieces than what I have. Like I can do the makeup part of it, no problem. But in order for me to actually get the image of it, I want to do a succubus.
Ooh.
And just for all the pieces, I've been waiting and waiting. One of these days I will get it, but like I want to do a succubus.
Okay.
Like it's been in my mind for over a year now and I haven't put it together. Mainly because it's like, I'll hate TikTok and then I love TikTok and then I hate TikTok and then I love TikTok and it's all over the place. So yeah, that's one that I do want to do. But it all just comes from something in my head. Like I see something and I'm like, I think I could do that. I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
That's very cool. All right,
Yeah.
well, let's ask another kind of for fun question here.
Okay.
And
All right.
and this is one that could get a little crazy, so everybody buckle
okay.
your seatbelts.
I like crazy.
What is your favorite hot take or unpopular opinion that you have? And it could be about anything.
Unpopular opinion.
Mm-hmm. Like for me, it's every time I say that Wonderlands is not Borderlands, and then everybody raises their pitchforks and torches at me, and I have to hide from the internet for a couple of hours. So
I watched that whole thing too. My unpopular opinion. Oh, I don't know if I could say that on stream.
go for it. It's an 18+ stream. Go for it.
Ugh. Women have more rights than men.
Ooh, okay. Now we're getting political.
Yeah, women do have more rights than men. I will say that, and that's not like I'm not gonna say hey like you need to take away the rights of women, but what I mean is like a woman could walk into a police station because something happened. We'll leave the details out of it, but something happened, and boom, charges get laid, blah blah blah, this and that. Everybody's taking it seriously. Man walks into a police station because something happened, same thing that happened to the woman, but and they're like, really? Like, how is that possible? A woman can go into a mental health facility, unless it has anything to do with a woman and ADHD, that's completely different, because that's apparently like a man's diagnosis. But anyways, besides the point, a woman can walk in and, may not have borderline personality disorder, but get diagnosed with it. Man walks in who actually has it and is suffering of it and needs the proper therapy, he gets turned away. So, everybody says, oh, equality. We need equality. Like, equality this and equality that. Well, the thing is everybody's been pleading for so much equality that women ended up getting more rights than men did. And women get taken seriously a little bit more than men do. So, that's my unpopular opinion.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you sit there and when you explain that opinion, like to just say that, a lot of people would probably like recoil back from that, but the way that you explain it, it really does. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And
well, that's exactly it.
Yeah. That's interesting. I love that. And that's
why I was like, wait a minute, let me explain it first before people be like, oh my god, Toxic Tess really is toxic. No, like before we get into this, hang on, hold up, let me kind of indulge in this a little bit, just to give you a little bit of perspective. So, that's another thing. I'm a men's rights activist. I have all the rights in the world to do what I want with my body, especially being in Canada. I feel very bad for the women in the States right now, 100%. I feel really bad for them. And, my door's always open. I live in a border city, so my door's always open. However, I am a men's rights activist just because, all of my guy friends have told me about things. Ooh, Taco Bell. That was awesome. Anyways, no, like all of my guy friends have talked to me about situations that they've been in, and I'm like, well, why don't you, go to this service, or, why don't you call these people, like, and they're like, I did, and they laughed at me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's not fair, because that same company helped me.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's one of those things where when I look at all of it, in some cases, yes, women do have more rights than men. In other cases, men may have, more rights. I went to school for auto mechanics, and because of my assigned gender, I can't go into get an apprenticeship, but whatever, it's besides the point. So, it's never a full equality. So, I mean, that's probably my unpopular opinion.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, and that's why I love asking that question specifically on this show, is that this is a complete judgment-free zone. I mean, I love hearing people's opinions, so I'm glad that you shared that with us.
That's good. That's awesome.
Got another question from the community. This one comes from BenMe3331. He wants to know, if you could travel anywhere, where would you go?
I'd go back to Italy. I'd go back to Capri, Italy. I have already been there, and I would go back again. I would go back again in a heartbeat. I don't even care. I would love to go to Greece, but I'm going back to Capri, Italy, man. That's where I'm going. It is so beautiful there.
Why?
Oh, my God. Oh, I went there 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody on my TikTok or anybody who's in my streams will know, like, I was a Crown Ward of the Children's Aid Society here in Ontario. And the agency that I was a Crown Ward of, every year they have this program called Travel Your Dreams, and they take 8 Crown Wards that are over the age of 18, ship them off somewhere in the world for 2 weeks, and as a way to open the mind.
Oh, cool.
I went to Paris, I went to Versailles, I went to Milan, I went to Florence. Florence was wicked. That was cool. I was sitting there and I was like, wait a minute, why does this all look familiar? And then one of my buddies was like, yo, Assassin's Creed. I was like, so we're like running all through Florence. It was awesome. Towards the last day before we went back to Sorrento and go to Rome, get on the plane and go home, we went to this little island. And off of the coast of Sorrento, we took a little boat with all 10 of us, because there was 8 young adults and 2 CAS worker chaperones. Get on this boat and we go to this little island. And I have a picture. I was probably about 150 feet up in the air, and there was this big drop. Like fence, you're not gonna fall, but there was a drop. And I took a picture without zooming in, and you could see how clear the water was. You could see the rocks at the bottom of the water.
Wow.
It was so clear. And we got to do a boat tour around, and we got to see jellyfish. And it was the first time in my life that I had felt free. And at this point, I was only a year sober. So a year before this, all I knew was drugs. All I knew was alcohol. All I knew was being homeless. All I knew was the chaos that I was living, the nightmare, the outcast, nobody wanted me, nobody liked me, any of that stuff. And then a year later, I'm in Italy. This foreign country surrounded by jellyfish. And it was the coolest feeling in the world. And then I had to come back home. And I cried. I cried on the plane. I cried in the airport. I cried getting off the plane. And I go to get off the plane and go through the little tunnel thing to go to the airport, and the humidity came back and hit me in the face, and I was like, wow, no, man, I want to go home. I'm going back to Italy. And I was so happy when I was there. And then, one of the workers, she looked at me, because she had known that, I went through some stuff. Mm-hmm. And she took a picture of me, and she calls it Capri Happy. And she's like, if you're not Capri Happy, don't do it. It's not worth it. She's like, it's not worth it. And about 2 months ago, I ended up taking a picture, whatever, for Twitter or something. I think it's my profile picture on Twitter and on Facebook and Instagram and all of it. And it has been the first time that I had the exact same smile as when I was in Capri. And I finally found the same level of happiness. So, I mean, I can live with still being in Canada. But I'd go back to Capri. I want to go to Capri. I love it. It's beautiful.
Well, that's a beautiful answer. And I think everybody can take that advice of finding that, as you called it, Capri happy. And just applying that, just finding their own Capri happy. I love that.
Yeah, Capri happy.
All
It's
right,
awesome.
I've got one more question that I
Okay.
love to ask everybody, and
Mm,
it's only really because this has become kind of a theme with everybody
okay.
that I've talked to. But one thing about, or one idea that keeps coming up over and over again on the show is this idea of dealing with burnout. Um, being a content creator, it really doesn't matter what form of content creator you take,
Yeah.
whether that be a YouTuber, a TikToker, a Twitch streamer, whatever it
Hosting
is.
dinners. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it winds up
Yeah.
being, we all kind of struggle with burnout. So, how do
Yeah.
you specifically deal with burnout?
Um.
And do you have any kind of advice, or anybody for that is in the audience that might be struggling with burnout?
So, okay. I actually am currently on a burnout. Currently, my streams are very inconsistent. My TikTok creation's inconsistent. It's all inconsistent. But it's just because this month is a very difficult month for me. We won't get into that because legally I can't.
Sure.
However, currently I'm in a burnout. So, like, burnout typically only lasts maybe a week, max 2. I've written off this entire month and said, if I can get to streaming, I will get to streaming, but, this is why I'm not okay.
For sure.
And today I'm good. I'm good today, which is why I was like, it's a-okay for me to do this today, 100%. But when I go through burnout, that's kind of like one of those things. Like, I'll, post into Discord, I'll post it on Twitter, I will put my, like, Twitch to, like, vacation mode, where it's like, okay, like, guys, I'm giving myself a week. And, I'll do stuff around the house, or I'll go and take the kids to the park, or, I'll do some random baking, or I focus a lot more on self-care.
Mm-hmm.
I just found a cobweb at my feet. That was gross. Anyways, that was gross. That was really gross. Anyways, no, like, I focus more on self-care and the things that I need, and, I watch other people's streams, I'll game offline, sometimes I'll game with other people, typically that's kind of where I'll go into, like, a little bit of a Minecraft phase for, like, a couple of days, or I'll just play Animal Crossing for a week, normally it's Animal Crossing because it means I don't have to be at my desk. I'll take my Switch, I'll go and sit on the couch, and I'll do that. I'll watch movies with the kids. Currently, I'm binge watching Stranger Things.
There you go.
I started season 4. I'm getting there.
Have
almost
fun.
probably it'll be done by tomorrow. It'll be done by tomorrow. I guarantee you. I'm not sleeping tonight.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no. I just take it day by day. Like, I try not to hit burnout, so I'll limit, like, how much I'll stream.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'll stream, like, max 4 days a week. Typically 3. I like to do 3. 3 works for me. But it also depends on the time of the year. Summertime's chaotic for me, and I know that. So it's like, I put that announcement out saying, like, hey, it's better for me to tell you what I'm going to stream, like, week by week, as opposed to me saying, I'm going to stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Or, Monday, whatever it is. Like, I can't give, like, a definite schedule. I can just do it week by week. Some weeks maybe once, other weeks maybe, like, 4 or 5 times. It all depends. So it's like, I just try to go with the flow with whatever it is and just kind of listen to my body. Like, if I know that I'm about to hit burnout, that's when it'll be like, okay, I'm going to take a step back for a day or two. And hopefully it's enough to recoup. If not, then I just say, hey, listen, guys, like, I love you all. I'm around, but I can't do the stream thing right now.
Gotcha.
And everybody's pretty good with it. Like, they know, a lot of the people that come and hang out in the streams, like, they know my situation. They know what I go through. And, like, they're all still there, So just focus on self-care. Self-care while streaming. Like, you stream, you close down that stream, you've done your rage, you've sent your people off to another community, self-care. Do that, Take care of yourself after. Go watch a movie, go take a bath, go sit outside in the nature for like 20 minutes, an hour, 3 hours, whatever it is. Do your self-care after your stream, and the chances of you burning out is a lot less. Definitely a lot less. That I will say.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got time for one more question from the community.
All right.
This one comes from Jamper. They want to know, Toxic Tess, who is your celebrity crush? The silence is palpable.
I don't know if you can hear him laughing in the background.
Oh, I can.
Yeah. Who do you think my celebrity crush is?
Well, you named one of your kids.
Oh
after
God!
him.
Oh my God! Oh my God! It's gonna have to be Ian Somerhalder. But the thing is it's not like a crush. It's more of like, you need to come hang out with me. Like, let's hang out. Let's go to like the mall and like let's just sit there and watch all the girls drool or something. But no, I love the character of Damon Salvatore in Vampire Diaries, much like I love the character of Lucifer. Much like I love the character of Ryuk. Like, I love the deranged characters. Now, it's not the celebrity itself that I have the crush on, it's the character.
Right.
Like, I'm also a very complex, romantic type of person. When we, like, that's why I was like, hang on. Like, my crush to me is not like everybody else's crush. Like, you gotta understand that, okay?
Totally.
Like, it's completely different. Like,
blindly just say, oh, the guy that plays Lucifer in Lucifer.
I don't actually know what that guy's name is. Unfortunately, I like the character though. Like, depending on the character, like I love Damon Salvatore because he is like that nice asshole, and he's toxic. And then I like Lucifer because he's that nice asshole and he's toxic. And then I like Ryuk because he's that nice asshole and he's toxic. Like, it's consistent. Like, it's
I am
very,
sensing
very
a pattern
consistent.
here. I am definitely
there's
sensing
a
a pattern.
Like, it also kind of like matches like my previous dating history. So I mean, it kind of works. My current relationship is definitely not toxic, but he is a nice asshole. So I mean, there is a little bit of consistency.
I have a nice.
Yes, you are a nice asshole.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tess, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This whole conversation has
you.
just been an absolute delight, and learning about what you do and a bit about who you are and what you've been through and how you come around this whole thing of content creation that we so much love. But it is now time for the shameless plug portion of the show. So please, where can my audience go to find out more about you and to support your content?
Any platform. I'm on all of them. I am on all of them. I'm on Snapchat, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm everywhere. I know that there's been a few shout-outs for me in the chat, which I do appreciate everybody that did shout me out. The other thing is I did realize that I hit 200 followers while doing this, so thank you for all of that.
That's amazing.
But yes, I'm on Twitter, Toxic Tess on all of the platforms, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. That's the best place to find me. The only thing that's different is my Snapchat. But, everything else, Toxic Tess, you search it into the engine and you'll find me. Not necessarily on Facebook, but everywhere else you'll find me if you search up Toxic Tess.
Perfect. Well, that is all the time we have for the confessional this evening.
Awesome.
I want to thank our guest, Toxic Tess, one more time for coming and talking to us. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being with us today that is live here in the chat. If you have questions or a guest suggestion or anything else, go ahead and leave a comment on the video below if you are checking us out on YouTube after the fact, or if you're joining us in audio format on any of your favorite podcasting sites, whether that be iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever that may be, please leave us a review and leave your comments in there. We would love to hear from you guys. Thank you again, everyone, and remember, be excellent to each other. Have a great night, everybody.